nutrition, from fasting to the timing of meals to how many meals per day you should be having. Should you go animal based? Should you go plant based? Should you be somewhere in between? What we should be doing in terms of our hormones, blood sugar, gut health. We're covering all the things. I'm going to do it in a very efficient manner today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Sarah. I am a nutritionist, exercise physiologist. We speak everything wellness for women over 40. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, set notifications. We're also doing a very fun February challenge for exercise. So you can find the playlist somewhere on my page. But anyhow, I have some notes written here, so I want to make sure that this is covering everything. Now, I am 42. I don't like to use myself as the main teaching tool, but I do feel it's important to allow you guys to understand where I started when I first got involved in all of this world of wellness, which was at about 19. Actually, it was about 18, my freshman year in college, and how it has evolved. Okay. I think it's so easy to find someone you really idolize on social media. You might like their body, you might like their vibe, whatever it is. Hopefully this is, let me know if you're watching live, if you can hear me fine, because I'm looking a little glitchy right now. But it's so easy to ask, what do you do? What do you eat? What supplements do you take? But I thought it was necessary to go through everything. So when I first started, I was eating in high school. I was eating like pretty much all high schoolers do, at least back when I was in high school. And we ate a lot of junk, a lot of carbs. I ate protein, yes. I was an athlete. I was exercising a lot. I was eating a lot, and a lot of not so blood sugar friendly foods and a lot of not so gut friendly foods. So when I got to college, that's when I really dialed it in. And in a matter of a year, I really transformed my body, mainly through cutting carbs. And I never counted calories. To this day, I have never counted calories. Okay. I have never counted macros. I do look at macros in a different way, which we'll get into. And that's how I teach and preach to all the women I work with, every woman on the social media platforms. I try to really reiterate the fact that you do not have to count every morsel that goes into your body in order to lose fat, in order to build lean muscle, in order to feel your best self. You just need a better, broader understanding of how to prioritize what you need to prioritize, okay? So again, started out, and at 19, like most of us, it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. Our body is very efficient. Hello, girlfriend. And so cutting calories, cutting carbs, something that easy, and not eating out and making all your food without even counting what I'm eating, boom, your body is going to transform very easily. I think nowadays, when you're on social media, it's so easy for people to say, all you got to do is eat in a caloric deficit. All you got to do is hit your macros. And then women 40, 50, and 60 are doing that, and they're not losing fat. They're not losing weight. Most of them who I work with are just gaining, and they're like, what the hell is happening? So let me know in the comments if you can relate to this, because it is not so cut and dry as numerical equations as we hit perimenopause on after, okay? So I wanna be very clear that when we are younger, in our 20s, sometimes even in our 30s, cutting calories, being in a caloric deficit, burning more than what we eat, moving more, eating less, that works. But as we get older, that is where the problem lies. And all these macro coaches and calorie coaches telling you, hire me, I'll give you your macro plan, I'll give you your calorie plan. That's all we got to do. And yes, sometimes that does work for women in their 40s and 50s if their gut health is thriving, if their blood sugar is very healthy and their insulin levels are very healthy, and if their hormones are fairly healthy. That's going to be a much easier solution if you have everything thriving. But the fact of the matter is, most women 40, 50 and up, we've got elevated cortisol. We've got a lot of issues with multiple things going on. And number one being the stress, the lack of sleep. That, if you can't get a handle on those two things, I am not even going to dive into nutrition with you, because those two things, lack of sleep and your body being in a constant state of stress, fight or flight, if your body does not feel safe, it is not going to give a rat's patootie how little you're eating, how clean you're eating, how low carb you're going, if your cortisol is an issue, okay? So that is the first thing to handle. Today's not about that. Today's about the nutrition, but want to be very clear. Okay, so when we're younger, pretty darn easy, right? As we approach 30s up to 40, usually by 40, every woman has begun perimenopause, whether you have felt it in the symptom form, maybe your periods are getting irregular, maybe you're feeling a little bit more up and down all around, maybe you're feeling like that luteal phase is kicking you so hard you have absolutely no energy, no desire for anything. Maybe you only feel good 2 days out of the week. Maybe you're feeling bloated all day, every day, or the majority of the days of the month. Let me know in the comments if this resonates with you. These are all things that I work with women on. And again, our issues, it becomes a compounding effect, because here we're taught we got to get in our workout, we got to meal prep, we got to be from here to here to here to take our kids all over God's green earth. We also got to take care of the home. We also got to make sure that we're paying our bills. We also got to make sure that we are doing everything for everyone else. And so it's like we feel like we are sinking, and yet we're still feeling like we got to execute this plan, even though we know that tonight we're only going to get 4 hours of sleep, but God forbid we miss that workout in the morning and it's just all going to be over. We have it backwards. So again, cortisol, stress, whatever, stress regulation, stress response improvement, sleep quality, that needs to be in check. Once that is, then we can dive into BMR, TDEE. I am going to tell you right now, friends, I have never calculated my BMR or my TDEE. To this day, I am 42 years old. I'm not saying that gloating. I'm telling you this because we don't need to know all the nitty gritty details about our body and our systems. I think I personally have had success because if you have followed my account for a while, I know I'm kind of new here on YouTube, but on Instagram, Facebook, I have been showing my journey since 19. I was competing, got out of that by 21, but I have been the same body for the past 25 years. And I, again, feel it's because I have disconnected so much from all the specific numbers and calculations and tracking. And oh my gosh, our body knows when it's stressed. Our body knows when it doesn't feel safe. If you wake up in the morning and okay, here we go. But if you are feeling like you're constantly worried about, okay, am I going to lose weight today? Oh my gosh, I got on the scale today and I thought I was going to lose weight, but I didn't. And this is fucking me up all day long. I'm not going to eat all day. I'm going to do fasting all day. It's just, no. Like that is preventing you from losing fat. Okay. So BMR, TDEE is what I calculate for women who join the program just to have a baseline, because if you are still struggling and you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, upwards, you need to know that you're eating enough. You need to know that you're not eating too much. So your BMR is how much your body burns just being, or how much your body needs, just being. And then your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure, is incorporating all the movement that you do, the thinking, the speaking, everything. How much your body is going to be burning daily. You need to make sure you're within proper ranges, okay? So that should be established. If you're still like, I don't know where the hell I am, I think it's very important just to know. Now, your macros are important. And honestly, they're not super specific, dependent on reaching your goals. And I say that because if you're following what my principles are for blood sugar regulation. I will tell you that I have never again counted calories or macros. However, I do look at each individual meal and I make sure each meal is balanced for blood sugar. And I will put a link to my free glycemic index guide below. But friends, if you can master this and you are hitting your protein every day, and again, once you know whereabouts protein is, a scoop of protein powder is about 20 grams of protein for most brands. A chicken breast, depending on the size, that's a good 25 grams of protein. And, X amount of eggs, one egg is equal to about 6 to 7 grams of protein. Once you eat the same things, you're just going to know a good roundabout average. Okay. So we want to make sure you're eating enough. I always say you want to get at least 1 gram per pound body weight. Okay. A lot of people will tell you you can go to 0.8, you can go to 1.1, depending on what your goals are and your movement. If you're sedentary, you don't require as much. If you're wanting to build lean muscle mass efficiently, protein is necessary. Carbohydrates are also necessary. But that's where you got to find what your goal is. And again, macros are important. But to reiterate, I've never followed a macro counting strict rigid plan. I just give my clients the breakdown, but I also tell them if you are overly stressed out, if you are doing, if you're not exercising that day, if you are where you're at with your sleep quality, your stress load, your exercise intensity, that will determine your carbohydrate needs. Okay. So I'm not going to get into all the specifics because it's very personalized. And if you want personalized information, then you can work with me one-on-one. But in terms of that is the way that women are able to learn the principles, learn to navigate according to what's going on in their life. And you're not going to have to start and stop the plan. If you're starting a plan that is caloric based, macro based, set, rigid plan, your coach is like, here you go, with no explanation on how to adjust things according to, again, exercise intensity, sleep quality, your day-to-day. Are you sick? Are you thriving? Are you feeling really overwhelmed with life? Are you walking today? Are you doing HIIT today? Those things matter when it comes to optimizing your macros, okay? So again, top thing, know that you're eating enough, know that you're not eating too little. We want to look at fasting. Fasting can work for the young ones, okay? As we get older, estrogen's dropping. It's that much more difficult to not only keep healthy blood sugar with the same meals, the same food combinations that we're having in our 40s and 50s, our blood sugar is not responding as well as when we were optimal in our hormones in our 20s and 30s. And so as estrogen goes down, blood sugar becomes a little bit touchier. So that's why you also have to be extra careful with the balance of the macros per meal as we get older, but also building lean muscle mass. Our body requires more fine tuning, more support when it comes to the foods we're consuming, the supplementation we're doing, because as we get older, a lot of women say, oh, my appetite's going down, or I'm not moving as much. And so all of those things factor into the equation when we're trying to make sure that we're building lean muscle mass. Okay. So really supplementing properly. I love creatine. I love a good supplemental protein powder. I'll put the link to all my favorite things down below. Food first, clearly, but I work with women and I have been for 25 years now. Let me tell you, women are not eating enough food. So you got to have that backup plan. You got to have the backup protein. You got to have the protein bars ready to go. You got to have the nuts and the seeds and all the things just to make sure that you're going to hit what you need. Okay. Fasting, in my opinion, for most women over 40 shouldn't be past 12 hours, period. Okay. And if you want to weave it in because you're feeling well rested, you've slept like a gem, you're feeling on top of the world, Then you can do fasting, but you got to think of fasting as another stressor. And it's not going to be beneficial if you are doing it for the simple fact of beating your body down. If you're bloated and you think fasting is going to help with your bloating, sorry, my friend, that is not the case. It's going to make it even worse. Your gut health is responsible for your bloating, period. So let's clean up the ingredients. That's another thing on my list. Quality of food, ingredients, your gut health. So many layers to nutrition, not just calories and macros, okay? So we hit on the BMR, the TDEE, which gives you the calories and the macros, timing of meals, fasting. In my opinion, every woman needs to wake up and have something, some kind of fuel, at least 200 calories, some protein, some healthy fat, maybe some carbs. And then especially if you're working out in the morning, you should be fueling before, if not before and after. If you don't want to eat before, do essential amino acids. If you want any of this information, links, codes, ask me in the comments. I'll give it to you. Quality of ingredients can take you so far. So if you are eating food out, if you're getting prepared food, I don't care if you're taking yourself up to Whole Foods and you're getting their prepared, already sauced and seasoned, but it's organic chicken and it's already marinated. No, it's got soybean oil, it's got canola oil, it's got safflower oil, it's got all the things that little by little disrupt the gut and create all that GI distress. And also, if you're eating the same foods and meals on repeat and you have an issue because you're like, I get bloated, I got to eat the same few things. I'm going to tell you right now, the same few things after a while will also cause bloating. Overconsumption of one thing will eventually lead to disruption in the gut. Diversity is what we need for a thriving gut microbiome. And everything stems from our gut. Our skin health, our mental health, our fat loss health, all of it, or metabolic health, I should say. It all stems from your gut, okay? So quality of ingredients. I know you want to hit that macro count. I know you want to hit the calories. Sometimes we're so obsessed with that you neglect looking at the ingredients. And, you know, with the keto this and the keto that, it's disgusting what ingredients are out there. Okay, animal-based versus plant-based. I was a girl who was completely vegan for 5 years. I loved the way I felt for about 2. And then somewhere in the middle, I started feeling like, oh, is it the plants, the lack of animal, that I'm feeling like my joints hurt, all of this. I do not think one person needs to be all or nothing, okay? I really feel like if you're doing veganism for animal rights, more power to you. However, you got to supplement properly. I honestly feel like us women, though, as we get older, we do need some good, high quality animal protein. I do mine mostly through organic salmon. I do chicken every now and then. I do high quality eggs, and I do grass-fed butter. And then I do a little bit of lactose-free Greek yogurt. Sometimes in recipes, I'll throw in cottage cheese, very rarely, but a good balance. I mean, I'm still about 75-80% plants, but you got to do what you got to do. When it comes to, again, blood sugar regulation, this is where you can break free of obsessing over all the nitty gritty numbers, okay? If you are looking at your meal and you are able to make sure, if my protein is here, my net carbs, once I subtract my fiber, is pretty balanced or under the protein, and then I've got healthy fat to help aid in that digestion and buffer that glucose response, then it's a balanced meal. And I'm listening to my body, and I don't feel like I'm stuffing myself. I don't still feel hungry when the meal is done. I feel like I fueled myself properly, and I'm going to wait a couple hours and I'm going to eat my second meal, and then I'm going to eat my third meal, and then I'm going to be done for the day. Okay? We do not trust ourselves enough when it comes to the food we're consuming. And we need to stop asking for permission from our coaches, from, you know, the whatever, the influencer who you idolize. Can I have this? Am I allowed to have that? Like, Trust yourself. If it's a clean ingredient, it's a whole food, and you're eating in a balanced manner, and you're not grazing throughout the day, you're eating something for breakfast, something for lunch, something for dinner, and we're not snacking, we're not eating late, we're getting a good 10 to 12 hours of fast between dinner and breakfast, and you're exercising the way you should, and you're sleeping the way you should. Why are we obsessing over all the freaking nitty gritty details of the numbers? It's not necessary. It really is not. It's the definition of insanity when you feel like, okay, this round, my 20th round of trying to lose fat, I'm going to start calculating everything. You will always have to live that life if you don't want to have to keep starting and stopping. And so let's think deeper. Let's think much deeper. Okay. And I'm very passionate about this because I have worked with so many women over the last 25 years. And it really is something when people let go of that scale and they start trusting themselves and they stop fucking worrying about every goddamn thing. Like, I mean, that's when the beauty happens. They're like, screw the scale. I'm not doing my check-in with the numbers. I'm just going to let you know how I'm feeling and how my clothes are fitting. And I'm getting stronger in the gym. I'm doing pull-ups now. I'm lifting heavier than I've ever lifted. I trust myself around food now. I'm trusting myself when I'm alone now. Who are you when you are alone, when no one is around? If you like that person, you trust that person, you feel like you are in control, that person has all the control over deciding, is this a meal I want to splurge on and I'm making this decision fully out of control? Or am I someone who still feels like if people around me are having ice cream, I just have to do it too? If I walk by a pizzeria and I see people eating pizza, do I need that pizza right now? The goal in this whole thing is to find the control. Once you feel that control, friends, it's over. It is over. You choose when you want to eat that splurge food. You call it whatever the hell you want to call it. Like, I'm sick of people downplaying and they're like, don't call it a cheat meal. That's very unhealthy. Okay, well, it's unhealthy that you have to worry about a word being so mentally capping, Like, if you're in control and you say, like, yeah, this is a cheat meal for me, no big deal. Like, I love it. I'm cheating on my health. I mean, whatever you want to call it. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, we need to really think bigger, think deeper. And it's not just calories and macros. The last thing, exercise and food, fueling your body properly for the exercise you're doing. I hit on that before. When it comes to the macros, if you're still doing low carb and your ass is doing CrossFit, P90X, Insanity, you're doing Orange Theory, you're sweating to the oldies, beat red in the face, wringing out your sports bra, and you're still like, yes, but I only ate, I'm still in ketosis. Friend, that's why you can't burn fat. Your body uses carbs for fuel during high intensity exercise, and the opposite when you're not doing high intensity exercise. So think about it, okay? All right, friends, I hope this was helpful. And I know I recorded it vertically, but it's because my cell phone would not latch the other way, okay? So drop some love in the comments. Let me know what questions you have, and have a great day.